After Sri Lanka defeated Australia by 2 wickets in the first of this 3-game T20 series, we head to the Gabba to see what Australia has in response up against this Sri Lankan team. Plenty of action coming up now, live from the Gabba. Alright, here, let's actually get it underway. Australia and Sri Lanka at the Gabba. No real changes for either of these sides. After Australia putting a really poor batting performance. They have switched up their batting order, though. Alex Carey into number 4. Steve Smith up to 3. Ben McDermott dropped down the order a little bit as well. Australia have won the toss, and they will elect to bat first. So, Aaron Finch choosing to bat first, which is, of course, normally the Australian way. Get some runs on the board, especially here at the Gabba. Batting first on this wicket. Generally not too bad. There's generally not too many, I guess, difficulties with the pitch later on anyway, but good for batting at all times. But obviously, Australia opting to get some runs on the board that they failed to do last time after they got Sri Lanka out cheaply in that last game. Obviously, they want to continue their good form with the ball, but if they can get themselves going with the bat, it should be enough to give them the confidence that they can go on and win this game. So Aaron Finch getting a couple of runs to start things off here. That's a quality straight drive. Down through mid-on. Again, not going to quite reach the boundaries. The outfield a bit slow at the moment. Out there, we might have had a little bit of drizzle earlier on in the day. Shouldn't affect play too much. You can see the ball holding up just a fraction as it gets towards the outfield. Aaron Finch starting off today with, oh, that's another quality shot. 4 more. David Warner's just faced the 1 ball, and Aaron Finch already on 12 runs. Again, driving it down. And again, Sri Lanka going with the spinner early. Just the 3rd over this time. Got the wicket of Warner last time. This time he cuts it away. That first match, obviously, David Warner falling to the spin. In a review that will cost him. I mean, obviously, he could have gone upstairs with the review, chose not to. The ball tracking showed the ball going over the top of the stumps. And after 3 overs, these guys are going at a pretty good rate. 8 and over at the moment. And that's a good shot from Finch. Already 32 runs up inside the first 4 overs. Australia will be looking for about 50 off this power play. But the way Aaron Finch is batting at the moment, he's 24 from 16. I'll be looking for a bit more than that. Oh, even Warner getting on the act. So, a much better start for Australia. None for 40. Well, I think their opening partnership wasn't too bad last match. Just sort of the middle order where they all fell apart and started to really lose some wickets. So, they'll just want to be batting out the 20 overs here if they can get that done. That's a quality shot through mid-wicket by Warner. 1 bounce to the boundary. Narrowly missing the 6. Oh, and a good drive again from Finch. So, Australia just 1 run away from bringing up that 50 inside the power play. It's exactly what they'll be after here, and they've got it. And this one driven beautifully again, straight down the ground by Finch. So, a good power play for Australia. Is this going to go to the rope? It's going to hold up. They just looked for 2. They came back for 3. 54 runs without loss of a wicket during the power play. Australia be pleased with that effort. Great start from them, and Finch 35 not out. Warner not doing too bad himself. There's an inside edge onto the pad. Keeper diving to his left. These two will pick up a couple of runs, maybe a 3rd coming back and getting there. This opening stand now worth 77 runs. Closing in on 10 overs. There's a run out. Aaron Finch is going to go for 45, a big direct hit. We've seen run-outs happen in the first match. There wasn't one between these two. It was Ben McDermott in the first innings over at the Adelaide Oval, and then Sri Lanka had a mix-up as well. But this time, just a good throw from the deep. Australia were pressing with their runs. Finch goes for 45, and it brings Steve Smith out to the middle. 9 overs gone, and Australia 1 for 79 at the moment. And Smith out. So he goes cheaply as well, trying to play aggressively. So a couple of games in a row, Steve Smith hasn't done too much, just a 1 run here. And Australia 2 for 81. They don't want to lose clumps of wicket. Alex Carey saw how well he batted for Australia last summer. He's one of Australia's standout batsmen in the shorter form of the game and very reliable, of course, as a 2020 player as well in the Big Bash for the Adelaide Strikers. Also going to probably see him again, obviously, in this 2020 tournament and possibly pushing his case to be Australia's next wicketkeeper batsman in the Test arena as well. That's David Warner with some real power. Is it all the way for 6? It is. Brings up the 100 for Australia with a big powerful shot over long off. Just too full, and Warner drives straight through the line of the ball, back over the bowler's head. That's a quality shot. And this time punching it away. And that's 4 again. So Warner finally found a bit of form. Didn't have too much, obviously, in the back end of that Ashes series. But he's found some now in these 2020s. That's 4 again. 52 for David Warner now. Half century up, 8 boundaries, 8 fours and a 6 to his name. So he's played really well. Alex Carey skying this one. Man got underneath it, but he's just fumbled the catch. And Carey gets a second life. Australia still going at 8 and over. They'll be looking for 160. If this score and this run rate sort of stays the same. Bit of luck there for Alex Carey again. The drop chance and this top edge. Well and truly over the top of the keeper. So scurried through again for a leg bye. But it's been a much better batting performance by the Aussies. Their top order has delivered today. Steve Smith, the only one really missing out so far. Considering we only saw 3 scores in the last match that Australia had double digits on. We've now got 3 scores over 20. Including 2 scores over 40. And there's another big 6. If they've added David Warner, I think it was again. Into the stands here at the Gabba. It was David Warner. He moves to 61. Australia's run rate just dropped off a little bit. We've got 15 balls left in the innings. See what the Aussies do. That one straight down the throat of long off. Catch taken. Warner goes for 61. And I think we'll start to see some Australian power hitting now with just obviously 14 balls remaining in the innings. And they've still got a lot of batting power to come. Obviously Maxwell, Turner, McDermott. These guys can really hit a ball. Warner goes for 61. Australia 3 for 138. So the question now happens. What do you think Sri Lanka will want Australia to stay at? There's another wicket. Alex Carey goes. So 2 overs to go. Australia 3 for 139. They'll have 2 fresh men at the crease. If they can keep this score underneath 160, I think Sri Lanka will be very pleased. Australia will still be looking for a obviously 165 plus score. 8 and over, very difficult to chase down even here at the Gabba. Especially with some good bowling. Saw how well Australia's bowlers did in that first match. McDermott hitting this one behind square on the onside. That'll be 4 runs. I'll be happy with that. Maxwell obviously yet to face the ball. Got out on his first delivery in that opening innings, in the opening match. And it's good to see he's hit this one for a boundary. Let's get some runs on the board. And that's out. Coming down the wicket. Use of the feet was pretty good, but just beaten in flight. Inside edge and good take by the keeper. So Maxwell goes for 4. Ashton Turner to the wicket. 7 balls left in this Australian innings. Now make that 1 over to come. They're 5 for 153. Oh, and there's a no ball. And Turner's hit the no ball for 6. So he'll get bonus runs. And a free hit. Oh, gee, at a time you didn't want a free hit to come, it has come. Turner goes straight down the ground. There are men getting underneath this. Should be taken. Of course, it's a free hit. They come back for 2. So they'll take it. This time, Turner hits it straight back to the bowler. He'll have to go for 12. And a big wicket for Sri Lanka there, but the damage might have been done with the no ball earlier on in the over. Have Australia just a few more runs. Mitch Stark hitting this down the ground. Should be able to pick up a couple. Not timing it all that well. Coming back for 2. That's run out. Run out territory, you feel. And Ben McDermott's going to get run out again. Pretty stiff for him. Last ball of the innings. Mitch Starc sends it over the top for 6. Australia finish up 7 for 171. The Mitchell Starc special in that last delivery. And it brings the Sri Lankan pair out to the middle. Mitch Starc took 4 wickets in that last match for the Aussies. And the target 172. Much more difficult than the 101 Australia posted in that first T20. Good start from Starc. This one away. So runs on the board for Sri Lanka again. They've just started with a couple of runs here. Early wickets obviously critical for Australia. And a good power play obviously critical for Sri Lanka. They would not want to lose a couple of wickets in this power play. That's a good shot down the ground. That'll be 4. Samara Wickrama is just got some power behind him. We saw that in the first match, although I think did get out cheaply. There's some good fielding off his own bowling there. Billy Stanlake gets the thick outside edge. That'll go for 4. A little bit of luck going the Sri Lankans' way. This one whipped away onto the onside. That'll be 4 again. So Stanlake and Starc started okay, but they still went for 8 or so and over. This time Mitchell Starc gets the breakthrough. So, a couple of matches in a row. That's now 5 wickets for the series so far for Mitch Starc. Gets the first one of the day here. No review. Going to be taken by the Sri Lankans. Just a little tickle. Alex Carey takes the catch. And now the new man just goes over the top. Rajapaksa. Hopefully I said that right. Or Rajapaksa. Rajapaksa. Maybe is the pronunciation. So we see another boundary hit. This one missed time, but straight enough to be in the gap. And good enough to be 4 runs. Andrew Tye, no, he likes to bowl a slower ball. That one just 125. Really trying to create doubt in the mind of the Sri Lankan batsmen, but they continue to hit boundaries. This hasn't been a bad power play whatsoever. There's a wicket. Bowled him. So Billy Stanlake gets his first. Middle stump out of the ground. And a big wicket. From an Australian perspective, if they can get 3 inside this power play, they'll put them in a very strong position. Of course, Australia were 3 down up until the 18th over. So they'll want to get these wickets quite early and really put Sri Lanka under the pump. That one almost rolling back onto the stumps after it's come off the inside edge onto the pad. And in the air, this will be 4 again. So just some good batting at the moment to finish off the power play. Bit of a shout here by the Aussies. Oh, it's bowled him. Hey, it's actually bowled him. I didn't realise. Thought they were going for the LBW. The ball has just ricocheted up in the air and the bails have come off. And Stanlake's got 2. That is a great wicket for the Australians. So Sri Lanka out of the power play now, yet to bring up the 50. Maxwell. This one's skied in the air by Fernando. Could this be the 4th Sri Lankan wicket early? Yes, it is. The Aussies are going up. The umpire gives it. And Maxwell gets on the board with a wicket. Took a couple late in the last match, I think. Maybe just the one, but he got a run out as well, I think, in the last game, Glenn Maxwell. But just a strange sort of a shot. Skying it to Starc at cover. Maxwell gets his first. Stanlake bowls to Shanaka. His first ball. He's just blocked it straight back to Stanlake. He's got 3. So Big Billy, he's got 3 wickets today. He's been impressive for the Aussies. Just see this ball played off the back foot and Stanlake just ready and waiting for that ball. Gets himself a 3rd wicket. Sri Lanka 5 for 47. Australia in a very dominant position right now. As the run rate is creeping up to about 10 or 11 and over. Maxwell to continue. And he's bowled him. Pereira's out. Again, we're seeing these sort of strange dismissals. We're not really noticing too much. Hit the very top of off as he tried to work it sort of towards third man with an up and over shot. Pereira goes. Hesang Ranga in for the next ball, and he's hit this straight to cover. We saw Maxwell get a wicket earlier like this. Mitch Starc, I think it is, taking the catch again. And another wicket. Maxwell's on a hat-trick. Just some really top work. It's Warner this time in cover. And Kumara to the crease as Maxwell is on a hat-trick. What's he going to do here? They did cross, though, the batsman. So it's Madhushanka on strike. Hat-trick ball. Oh, and he gets it away for the single. But Sri Lanka very quickly after 9 overs. 7 for... They were 7 for 57. Maxwell's last delivery of his spell is going to grant him a 4th wicket. Ross puts the finger up. Maxwell has 4 LBW. It was that man who survived the hat-trick ball, and he's got him this time. 17, Kumara and Malinga, the two that won the game for Sri Lanka in that first match. They'll need 105 from a further 50-odd balls. It's going to be tough, especially with Pat Cummins steaming in, collecting edges, and Carey taking catches. Australia with another wicket. They're just one more away from levelling this series at 1 apiece. Kumara goes for 4. And Malinga back on. Oh, I thought Maxwell had finished his spell, but he's 4 for 12 from 3.2 overs. It's just some high-quality bowling. Can he finish with 5, Glenn Maxwell? Oh, very close, but not quite. Mitchell Starc for Australia. Generally cleans up the tail. Got the first wicket of the innings. Can he get the last as well? I think it has been his only wicket so far. This time Malinga has just chipped it onto himself and in the air, and Mitch Starc gets it. Sri Lanka all out for 80. Australia win this 2020 match. And they level the series at 1 apiece. Mitch Starc, just a good bit of bowling, just a little inside edge onto the pad, and it just balloons back to Mitch Starc, the bowler. He takes the catch. Australia with a 91-run victory after a disappointing first match where they lost by 2 wickets. And Sri Lanka got up chasing down Australia's 101. But Australia winning this match. Maxwell, the player of the game, with his 4 for 17. And I think he made 4 runs as well. But thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned for Game 3. Coming up on the weekend. Well, when's Game 3? I don't know. It's fairly soon. It'll happen when it happens. Enjoy the summer of cricket, everyone. Make sure you leave a thumbs up on this video. And if you want to subscribe, you can just click on the screen right now to do that. And then, you know, there's more videos to watch. Click one of those. I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.